You know how sometimes a personal tragedy just blows up online? The real story, the human story, it just gets lost in the noise. Well, today we're going to look past all the viral videos and shocking headlines to really understand what one family was going through. It's a private battle with loss, with addiction, and with a public story that just got completely twisted. Let's get into what really happened beyond the headlines.
They did not even let me grieve in peace. That Zaynab actor and her voice is really at the center of all of this. Right after her husband died, I mean literally in the middle of her shock and grief, she was hit with this storm of public accusations. It's just unbelievable.
So let's talk about that grief, the pain, and these allegations. At just 34 years old, Zaynab was suddenly dealing with two crises that are just unthinkable at the same time. She's lost her husband, and on top of that, she's fighting this awful scandal that was threatening to tear her family apart.
I mean, can you even imagine you're 34, you've just been widowed, and you're mourning the loss of your husband, Akil. But instead of being able to grieve, you're suddenly facing these horrible public accusations of an illicit relationship with your own father-in-law. It's just so cruel. And for Zaynab, this wasn't some bad dream. This was her new reality.
But listen to what Zaynab herself says. My in-laws have been my cushions. It's a world away from the story being pushed online, right? She says it's tough to treat a daughter-in-law like a daughter. But they did. They treated her just like their own. So these people who were her absolute rock, her support system, they were being dragged through the mud right along with her.
Okay, so where did all this poison come from? How did it even start? Well, it all goes back to a single video. A video that was recorded, then deleted, and its shadow just loomed over everything after the person who made it was gone and couldn't explain. Now, the timeline here is absolutely key to understanding how this whole thing got so twisted. On August 27th, Akil posts this video making these wild, baseless allegations. But then, later that same night, his sister calls him. And he realizes his mistake, he apologizes, he deletes the video, he even records a second video taking it all back. But after he died, that first explosive video is what went viral. The apology, the retraction, pretty much buried. Almost nobody saw it. And look, this wasn't just trolls on the internet. This had serious, real-world consequences. An FIR, that's a formal police complaint, was actually filed against Akil's parents, all based on that first video, the one he took back. Suddenly, this family's private tragedy became a public, legal nightmare. So the big question is, why? Why would Akil ever post a video like that in the first place? To get that answer, we have to peel back the layers of this public drama and look at the private battle the family was fighting every single day. And that battle was with addiction. Zaynab talks about who he was before all this. You know, he loved cars, and his 5-year-old son, Aslan, he loved them too. The two of them would just talk for hours about cars, about how to make an engine stronger. That's the guy she remembers. That's the dad his kids lost. And that's the memory they're fighting so hard to hold on to now. There was a very clear turning point. Before, when he was on weed, Zaynab said, yeah, he'd get angry. Some days were really bad. But it felt like a phase, something they could maybe manage. But then, in 2024, he started using ice, and everything changed. She says he suffered from psychosis. He started suspecting everyone. And the grip of this psychosis was just horrifying. I mean, he accused his own mother and sister of being prostitutes. He claimed his wife, Zaynab, danced for guests. He became convinced the family was trying to kill him with his medication. He wouldn't see a psychiatrist, wouldn't get help. The only people in the entire world he still trusted were his own small children. Everyone else was suddenly the enemy.
Finally, things got to a breaking point. Akil became violent, and Zaynab had to do the hardest thing imaginable. For her safety and for her kids' safety, she moved out. But she didn't go far, just to a house right next door. Which tells you everything, right? She wasn't abandoning him, but she absolutely had to get her family to a physically safe place.
So you see, the family was trying everything they could think of to help him. But what happens when the system itself fails you? Their desperate private struggle just slammed right into a wall. A system that was just not set up to actually help. Which brings us to this really painful question. His family tried so hard to get him help. They got him into rehab. So why, in Zaynab's own words, was he so helpless? Well, it really comes down to where they sent him for that help. Because this rehabilitation center, it was a disaster. Get this, there were no on-site psychiatrists for therapy. What's rehab without therapy?
The treatment was basically just medication and forcing patients to do manual labor, like cooking and cleaning for everyone. No sports, no activities to engage them. And on top of it all, the place was just plain unhygienic.
And if you need one detail to understand just how bad it was, Zaynab gives it to us. She said, when his bag would come home for washing his clothes, the bag was eaten up by rats. This was the condition. Eaten by rats. How is anyone supposed to get better in a place like that? It's just pure neglect.
Which brings us back to Zaynab and her fight for her husband's legacy. After everything, after losing him, after the system failed him, she's the one left to try and set the record straight.
Her focus now, it's on her 2 kids, Sarah, who's 7, and Aslan, who's 5. She's got to make sure they remember their father for the man he really was, not for the illness that took him over.
She says, as they grow up, I want them to know that their father was a good human being. It's the small things, the things a good dad does. He loved them. He cared for them. He was there when they had to get their shots. Those are the moments. Those are the real memories she's trying to protect.
And this last quote, I think it just says it all. She says, I want to climb up a high wall and shout to the world that he was a good human being. He was not a bad man. He loved us, but he had a problem. It's that simple and it's that complicated. He was a good man with a terrible problem.
And it really makes you think, doesn't it? When a person's entire life gets flattened by social media into just one viral story, what's the true story that gets left behind? What gets lost in all the shares and all the comments? That's the question we're left with, and that's the battle Zaynab is now fighting for her family.